For more, I'm joined by AnnaMarie Bena. She is the Senior Vice President of the US Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. AnnaMarie, thank you so much for being with me. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I imagine you've had quite a busy week. Maybe you could just tell me about some of the changes that have happened for you and your team over the past few days.
We have had an incredible week. And in fact, I had been in the Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya.
Wow.
And returned just the day before the presidential inauguration. And of course, on that day, the president signed an executive order to halt the refugees coming into the United States. And the date that was supposed to be implemented was January 27th, but instead it happened on the 21st. So we were caught off guard. There were many people who were supposed to be coming into the United States, rejoining their families, and that was stopped at the last minute. And then Friday evening, while we were trying to catch up and manage what had happened earlier in the week, we received a complete stop work order late Friday afternoon. And that has really turned us around in an even bigger way.
In news, we usually gloss over topics and we kind of just say things as they are and we move on from them. Give me a sense of what this actually means to the place that you're working in and the service users there. What has this felt like this week?
This week has been so challenging, and it's challenging, I would say, mostly because of the extreme uncertainty. So living, we say uncertainty, but I think it's a very deep emotion for people to have something that they just don't know what is going to happen. So for our staff, they're concerned about their jobs. For our refugee clients, they are concerned and they are afraid. They're concerned they won't be reunited with family. Those who were not allowed on those planes this past week are worried about what's going to happen with their lives. Are they going back to a place that's dangerous? So I think that overwhelming uncertainty and even the feeling for the refugees of being unwanted and not being accepted into the U.S.
What does that look like to individuals on the ground in these communities? Because I'm guessing they haven't really got much protection around them. They are very exposed to people's thoughts and feelings in the areas they're living in. Have you had any stories from people about what this week has meant to them?
Yeah, I think one example that really says a lot to me is that children don't want to go to school. They're afraid to go to school. And so, they're hearing from their parents, they're hearing from other community members. And when you have it so that it gets to, elementary school children not wanting to go to school because they're afraid, I think that really speaks a lot about what's happening in the community.
One thing I've seen on social media is people saying, well, we knew that President Trump was going to be coming in, so why didn't people get their things in order to leave in advance of these decisions, which were inevitable? Do you think that these changes and these orders were inevitable?
It's hard to say inevitable. I think we knew that there would be something coming. Because of the last Trump administration, we knew that the numbers of refugees coming into the U.S. would be lower. I don't think we saw the extreme quickness and the complete suspension in the way that it's happened.
Fair. To anyone watching this who wants to do more to support refugees in the U.S., what can they do?
I would recommend that they call their members of Congress They need to go to them and say, we've had refugees in our community and they contribute and we want them here. This is a humanitarian program. And really, our recourse now is to go to members of Congress, go to their governor as well, and other state officials.
You don't think it's too late for that?
I think it may be too late with the administration, but Congress, the refugee program in the United States, since 1980, when the Refugee Act was passed unanimously, it has been a bipartisan issue. And maybe we just need to go back to Congress and remind them that this has been a bipartisan issue.
Well, we will see what happens. AnnaMarie Bena, Senior Vice President of the US Committee for Refugees and Immigrants, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.